Hi, this is Rebecca Cook, and I wanted to share my very first journal that I made, and it's for my daughter as a gift, or I should say our daughter. She lives in England with her husband, and they run a nonprofit for their church, and they sell coffee that they source from anywhere in the world that's really got good coffee, such as Ethiopia, Brazil, some places in Central America, a lot of places I can't even think of the names now, but she and he do a good business with these coffees because they're top rate, and they raise a lot of money for their church by selling them. So to honor that, I have on the bead section here a copper, and if it wants to cooperate, coffee cup and saucer. Thought that would be appropriate for what they are doing. The front of the book has a fabric flower on top of some Japanese paper that I think looks like a trellis. So I put that together to make it interesting, just from looking at it, to make you want to read inside and see the rest of the book. Also, this fabric on here is French, and it's from around 1910, 1915. It was dress fabric. I took inking pads and gave it a once-over to give it a little bit of age, although it already has a little age. It's evidenced by the tiny holes in it. I made a pamphlet stitch, 5-hole pamphlet stitch, to hold in the book signatures. And you can see here that I have 3 signatures, and this one did not come up as high as the others. But I tell you, I learned a lot of stuff doing this. I learned a lot of things at work and things that I find frustrating and won't do again. But I think my daughter would be glad to see this book because she is an avid journalist. She writes daily and has ever since she learned to write. So she has rows of journals that she keeps all her memories in. Book cover, spine, and the back side of it, the back cover, are from 1864, or I'm sorry, a book that was published in 1894. I didn't want the text box of pages inside. I cut those out and put this on the book so that it would appeal more to her. The ribbon is sari silk, and this is cut off of silk material they used to make the saris in India and other places. And then they trim off these and sell them as ribbons, so you have a really unique fabric to use when you make journals or anything else you want to use ribbon in. When we open it, in the front, there is a small pocket for her to put in anything she has as memories or souvenirs from places she may have been while she was writing in the journal, with a bird soaring up above it. This is the first part of the first signature. Here is a pocket for her to use these journal cards that I put in here, made and put them in. This is an old radishes. This was a seed card or seed envelope, and this is something I found that has to do with coffee, and I thought that would be really appropriate for her to use that. This is a popular piano piece page from a 1920 piece of music, and you see that they sold for 25 cents each. So that can either be written on like the other pages in between lines or just left as a decorative page. This album, or excuse me, this journal is based on loosely, very loosely, Anne of Green Gables, which was a very popular book for her. She would read it constantly when she was younger. And so I used that idea, but I used it very freely. There's a stamp here. I used a lot of washi tape because when I was sewing, some of the holes got big and I used waxed thread and it didn't want to stay. So I strengthened everything with washi tape. This is a piece of ribbon that I shredded down here, and it's held on by a clay bead. Another stamp. This right here is a piano piece from a player piano, and the paper has these marks in it, these holes, so that they would make the keys play the tune of whatever was on this roll. So I'd strengthened it because it's kind of fragile with washi tape and covered the areas where the holes were coming off the paper. I didn't want them to tear. And this is a map of Prince Edward Island where Anne of Green Gables is set. And again, you have this stiff paper she can write on, draw, paint. This right here is a collage cluster. I used small bits of paper that I had. It was just scraps, and I have a lot of those. Anybody who collage has a lot of paper scraps. So using a brad and paper flower, I made this cluster to put on the corner of the page. This is some Japanese paper. It's very sheer, and I don't know if she wants to write on it or not, but I know that she likes just about anything that's Japanese. So I gave that to her, and she can write on the back of this. This is from a napkin, a nice piece of fern or fern plant, and I put it on just to decorate the page here. And the same with this. This is a piece of washi tape, and it decorates the page and adds to the feel of the journal. Small piece of paper for to write on. Another sheer piece of paper that's been splattered with coffee. And this is a journal pocket with a journal card for her to use. It's in that. And this came from the top of a map, and I cut it out for her to be able to write on some small pages. And this is the waxed thread that I used in this signature. More coffee splatters. The other part of that green. And a little piece of washi tape down here. Stiff paper, again, for drawing, painting, or writing. The other half of the Japanese paper. Another cluster from this mini, I have a big box of scraps. So these come from there. And I used a lot of brads with them just to give it a little place that draws your eye. Another piece of player piano music with with washi tape to strengthen it. Another stamp on the bottom of this page. I really like that stamp. I think it says a lot just by itself. I found this card. I don't know where it came from, but it's pretty aged. And then I put another little something over here too that just gives interest to the pages. Bird stamp. Some more washi tape over here to the side. Another piece of music. And this is not 10-cent music, as they want you to know. So it's samples made in the back of a music sheet. And these are exceedingly attractive songs in this the catalog they're promoting. And it gives all the samples from it. I just cut this one out. Another stamping here. You can see most of it is either floral or wooded images that give a sense of being outdoors. This is the back of the first signature. This image reminded me a lot of where she grew up. We lived in Charleston, South Carolina, and it is full of trees bearing moss. And there's a garden on the Ashley River that's called Magnolia Gardens, and it has, this looks like it was taken out of that place, out of that location, way back before they started developing or built the house that's there. This is a journal card and pocket that I made that she's, again, able to write on. I am not sure what this is. It's rather lightweight. I think this is more Japanese rice paper. This is a paper clip, tiny one, holding this little heart that she could also write on the back of that if she wished. And this is just a piece that I found, and I liked it, but when I was putting in, I made a hole in this sheer paper, and so I thought this butterfly would look good on that to cover it up. Another pocket with a tag that I made. This one has a feather, some old paper, and another tag paper that I cut out of. She can write on the back of that. I'm not sure if I'm going to put ribbon in these tags or not, but ribbons would look nice to put in there. Another plain sheet, plain side, center of the second signature. And this is an old card that came out, people to hand out from about different authors. And this one's Louisa May Alcott. And it lists some of the books that she wrote: Little Women, Little Men, Eight Cousins. And so those were other books that my daughter liked when she was younger. Plenty of room to write. Another cluster here with a leaf on it. More space for writing or drawing or painting. And another cluster here. They all use brads, as you can see, but they use a different amount of scraps. This is a little pocket I made. This was from a card that was in with a gift. And I made a little pocket out of it and made this tag and this tag to go in there that she could just jot little notes on if she didn't feel like writing a big page. So this little bird came from a napkin, so it worked out really well. Have a little bulldog clip with another piece that if you wanted to write down something funny on there or write down some memories of the day that she's just opens to, she can do that. This is the beginning of the third signature. Found this old ad, Bicycle Records, and it gives $18.95, and it talks about the competitions for the different classes. Her husband goes everywhere on a bike. He's an avid cyclist, so I thought that would work well in there. Another pocket And this one, this is an old tag I made back about 15 years ago. If pigs could fly. So I thought that was cute, and she might have some memory of me doing it, and I just wanted to put it in for her to enjoy. Another card for writing, and another tag that I made, again, about 15 years ago. And she can write on the back of that. More paper for writing. This is from the cover of a song. It's from Charlotte, North Carolina. They give the address on Tryon Street, and the place was called Andrews. And here's some music that came out of that, again secured by washi tape. This is part of an old ledger that came from the Organization of Odd Fellows, and I had to put washi tape in here again because otherwise it would not have been the right width for the page. A bird with a tag on it that could be written in. And the back of that, here's a young man that looked like he came out of Anne of Green Gables. It's about the same time period. And so I thought that would be interesting on there. This is a cigarette card that they used to put in packs of cigarettes that would have information on any number of things. Everything from birds to soldiers. This is Church and Company from New York. It's probably about 1890. And the bird on there is a hermit thrush. Very old paper here. You can see the seam. More coffee stained paper. More ledger paper with a small grouping of pieces that I thought were interesting just to give a lift to the page. More stamping, another interesting corner there. This is again from the top of the map. This is the middle of the signature, the wax thread I used to hold this together. Another decorated page. An empty page with a little bit of stamping. I thought this was interesting. This one's not an original. It's a copy made of the original, but it's North Star Tea Company Coffee. So I thought that would be something that would fit in with what she and her husband does. And this tag I made years ago, and she's be able to write on that one. It does have ribbon in with it. Another piece of old ledger paper. Another coffee stained. Again, this is what's called Victorian scrap that looks like it would be about the time of Anne of Green Gables where it was set. So I put that on that page give it a lift. And this is an old Victorian scrap. This one would have been on a calling card. And it would have been hinged here, and you could lift it up and see the person's name. But somewhere along the line, in the last 100 and something years, this one tore off. But it makes a nice page decoration. Tiny little bulldog clip with a milk carton tab. This would have been taken off a bottle of milk. And I thought it was interesting. It kind of fit in with the theme. Another full page color. Old ledger paper. This one was pieced together and held with washi tape. This is another piece of music. 15 cents each. Net postpaid. So you couldn't beat that. If you tried to buy it today, you'd probably have to pay several dollars. This is again from that page of music the front page before you opened it and played whatever was in there. I like this because it's got the grouping of colors, and it picks up in this sunset. And this is a great journal card. And I think this is very bright and colorful, and I put this trim on it for her to enjoy the page. This is the back side of the bicycle competition records. And this is the end page with a heart at the bottom and more colored boxes to show the colors used in this painting. Here is the back of the book with another pocket she can stick things in. So you can see that even though there were mistakes and there are things I would do differently now, I think it turned out fairly well overall, and especially be something that she would enjoy. That's my big hope, that she would enjoy and use. So thanks for watching. Bye.